Hey, good morning. So Christmas is coming, and one of the things that a lot of Southerners like to have on Christmas morning or during the Christmas season, because it's a treat. It's not something that you do every day, but it's a special treat to have chocolate gravy. Um, my grandmother, it was always a treat. My grandmother would make chocolate gravy, and so she also made her own chocolate syrup. We're going to try that one day. Um, so the recipe we're going to use, I like Hershey's cocoa. Um, that's just what I've always used. Um, there may be some cocoa that you like better. If so, you can put that in the comments. I need to get, now that I'm here about to get my cocoa out, I need to use a spoon instead of, so I'm going to spoon that into my measuring cup. You could also do tablespoons. And measure your cocoa that way. But I've got a quarter cup of cocoa that I'm going to add to 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and I have a teaspoon of salt. So, no, I'm sorry, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Yeah, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So a 1/4 cup of cocoa, 3/4 cup sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to mix those together with my whisk. And then I'm also going to add flour as a thickening agent, and that is I've got 3 tablespoons of flour, and I'm using, we made some freshly milled flour and had a little bit left over, and so I'm using that freshly milled flour. It will ultimately help to thicken the gravy when we're cooking it on the stove. I'm going to mix that together. Make sure we don't have try not having lumps in there. My flour definitely was not lumpy, so what I'm seeing as lumps, I believe, is my cocoa. And it's not big lumps, it's just little bitty lumps, just trying to get that uniform throughout. And then I'm going to add my milk to my mixture. Now, I wanted to show you this. I got this forever ago, but it's really cool, and it's a good tool to have. You can measure liquids this way. This is the liquid side, or it pushes down and you can measure solids. It is, I got this from Pampered Chef ages ago, but it's really good for, like, if you're making peanut butter cookies or you're measuring Crisco or something like that. Really good for the solids. But today we're going to use the liquid measuring portion. And we're going to go to 2 cups of, and I've been using whole milk because I have learned that whole milk keeps better in the refrigerator. And funny thing is, we've been drinking milk more since I've started having whole milk in the refrigerator. So we're going through it faster anyway. So now I'm going to add my milk to my solids. And then I'm going to stir that up, give that a really good stir. You may wonder about this little measuring cup. I got this from Pampered Chef too. Went through a phase of buying several things from Pampered Chef. I still will occasionally buy something from them. Okay. Mix that up really good. And then I'm going to turn on my eye it says medium heat. I think if you have, like, not gas, medium heat will be fine. For our gas stove, I need to turn it on low. So now I'm going to add this to my pan. Try to grab any solids that I'm leaving. Not really solids, just wet solids, really. But put that in there. And now, this is the thing about chocolate gravy. I got my longer whisk. You see that? And I am just going to stand and whisk for some time until my gravy thickens to the consistency that I would like for it to be. So as I'm whisking, what I'm hoping that, what I want to happen here is I want the sugars to dissolve. And I think, so we're going to see it go through a series of different looking textures. Those little black pieces are little pieces, those little pieces of cocoa I was talking about earlier. You'll notice that it's almost like it's clarifying in terms of it was very grainy when I poured it in, and now that sugar, as that milk is warming up, it is beginning to dissolve and clarify in terms of it's going into solution. So it's not, you don't see that graininess of the gravy. You don't see that graininess of the initial mixture, I should say. And as it heats up, eventually it's that the flour, which acts as our thickening agent, is going to begin to thicken up, and we'll have the gravy texture that we're looking for. Right now it's too thin, so I'm going to continue to stir. Starting to come together. You can see it on the sides. You want to keep stirring because you don't want it to scorch. I can smell the chocolate. I'm going to get a spoon. Yep, there we go. See how it's sticking to the back of that? All right, it's ready. Now we're going to put the final touches on this. Oh, sorry, I forgot where I put my butter. So we're going to put a tablespoon of butter. And we always have to have a little bit of vanilla. Jonathan's homemade vanilla. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And you want to add the vanilla at the end because you don't want it to get as hot. I'm going to stir that in. Okay, I do want you to look at this. I want you to look at this spoon here. This was before I cooked the gravy. See how grainy that looks? And now if we look at the gravy, see how smooth it is? So there you go, chocolate gravy. We're going to put those on top of our biscuits.